What is up, guys? It is Harley here, back with another video on the channel. Now today I'm going to be doing a buy, sell, keep and avoid for round of 16 of the Euros on Fantasy. Now what you are seeing on the screen right now is not just a new overlay at the top and bottom of the screen with the live sub count telling you to like, subscribe. There's also a league code at the top and my rank for Euro Fantasy. You can also see my team on the screen, which is my current round of 16 draft. Now, I'm telling you for a fact, a literal fact, I'm pretty sure half of this team is going to change. It is going to change. There is no way this stays as it is. Because, I mean, if we look at the matches, we don't actually have... I think we have 2 matches that are set in stone. I'm pretty sure we have 2 matches. Wales, Denmark and Italy, Austria. We don't know any of these games yet. We genuinely don't know the third place teams, like which order they're going to be, which one you're going to be against, whatnot. We also have these games today. By the time you're watching this video, these games would have already finished. Yeah, I'm currently recording this at 1:48, so I don't know what happens in these games yet, but hopefully it's decent to match the buy, keep, sell, avoid in this video. We're going to get into the first player you should buy, sell, keep or avoid, and it is Pavard. Is it Benjamin Pavard? I'm pretty sure it's Benjamin Pavard, but pretty much he is owned by 5% of players, which means he's a good differential. And I mean, I guess it's not necessarily a differential, so to speak. It's a French defender, but he's owned by 5%, which means he is pretty much a differential, considering not a lot of people own him. But he has 180 minutes played. Obviously, he's played both of the French games fully. He hasn't been subbed off in either of them. I'm pretty sure he got an assist in his first game. I think he's on like 7 points or something like that. And France will either play, this is if their game goes expectedly, which is them beating Portugal. So if it goes on what the betting odds are, which is that France are going to beat Portugal, then France will either play Switzerland, Finland or Ukraine. You'll know, if it could be, if they beat Portugal and it's one of those teams, you'll know by tonight which of those teams it will be. It'll be one of those 3 if they win. But you will know for certain which team it is because everyone will have played. But currently for me, it is one of Switzerland, Finland or Ukraine. So I think there's a good chance he gets a clean sheet. He's someone you can hang on for because I think France, against one of those 3 teams, I'm pretty sure France are going to win. You can have Pavard going into the next round as well. You only get 3 free transfers going into the quarterfinals. So you definitely do not want to include players that are going to be out of the competition after the round of 16. So you've got to play it safe with the players from the teams that you choose. If we have another look at Pavard, obviously clean sheet. Oh no, he didn't get an assist. He got a clean sheet in the first game against Germany. Didn't manage to get anything in the Hungary match, but I think that's just a one-off game. I mean, by 5%, we'll see how he does in this game. You'll know how he does in this game. But for 6 million, I think, considering the budget, I think is the budget higher? I think the budget's 105 million going into the round of 16. So I think you should include him for 6 million. I think that's a good price. Now the next player on buy, the second player on buy, the only other player on buy, is Perisic for Croatia. Now this one is a weird one. This one is a tough one because Perisic is owned by 4% of players. He has 19 points in 3 games, which is a 2 goal and 1 assist. If we have a little look, so he got 2 points in the game against England, which was just 90 minutes played. Against Czech Republic, he got a goal and 90 minutes played. And then 81 minutes played against Scotland and got a goal and an assist. And obviously, because he's a midfielder, he managed to get 5 points for the goal, the extra point. And he's actually selected by 3%, so it's actually gone down since I took notes of this about an hour ago. But more people have taken him out. Now this is a tough one to talk about because he's done very well. 8.6 million is a decent price for him, but he's likely to play Spain in the round of 16. So you would expect Spain to beat Croatia, but Perisic with the numbers that he is producing, I mean, it's not saying he's not guaranteed to play Spain, I'm pretty sure he plays, I'm not sure, is it first place in Group E? I think it is. But that could be Slovakia or Sweden as well. It might not even be Spain. But if it's Slovakia or Sweden, sorry, I'd expect that Croatia would go through. But I think Croatia would probably lose to Spain. But he's someone that you could bring in, maybe risk taking out one of them from the one of three free transfers. If he does actually lose the round of 16 game, but he's definitely a differential to have a look at for your round of 16 team. Now, the two players in the sell section, the first player who you should sell is Harry Kane. Now, this one is a definite sell for me. I don't think I'm going to have any English players in my round of 16 team, due to the fact that, yes, England didn't concede a single goal in the group stages, but they only scored 2 goals. You know, compared to the likes of Italy, who scored 7. Who else? So it was Italy who scored 7. There was like Netherlands who scored around that as well. Belgium who scored around that. I mean, I think we can have a look, actually. Is there a way for us to look on here? So here we see, look, the team stats for goals. Netherlands have scored 8 goals. Italy 7. Belgium 7. Portugal with 5. And then all the way down here, England with 2. Like, it's not great, really. Like, it's just, yes, France have scored 2 as well and conceded, but England, it's just like, have we really seen anything special from England? And I mean, especially with the fact that England obviously finished first of the group, gonna play second in Group F, which is either France, Germany, Portugal or Hungary. But if the results go as betting odds show, which is France to win and Germany to win, then I'm pretty sure it'll be Germany that England face in around of 16. And I'm not convinced that England can beat Germany. I'm really not. I'm not convinced at all that England can beat Germany. I think Germany would win that game any day of the week. Yeah, it's quite sad for me to say that, because everyone in England obviously wants it to come home, but I cannot see us beating a team like Germany. I think we could beat Portugal, not France, and Germany is sort of a 50-50, maybe a 75-25, with the 75 being that they would beat us. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure, but that's why I would not go for any England players. But Harry Kane specifically, 0 goals and assists in all 3 games, when a lot of people predicted for Harry Kane to be the top scorer of the whole competition. Well, I think it's safe to say that that's not going to happen. So obviously playing one of the big boys in Group F, the group of death teams, I don't think he's more likely to score against them than any of the 3 that we had in the group stages, which were 3 mid-tier teams. I mean, Croatia are a decent side. Czech Republic, you would expect England to batter them, and same for Scotland, but the Scotland game was a 0-0, so quite disappointing. But Kane will 100% come out of my team. He wasn't in my team anyway, but you get loads of free transfers, but it's pretty much do not include Kane in your team. The next player, similarly to the Kane situation, is Bruno Fernandes. Now, again, if the results go as planned, the betting odds, Portugal will either play Netherlands or Belgium in their next game. So Netherlands or Belgium play the 3rd place Group F team, I think it is, which is Netherlands or Belgium, and it'll be Portugal that finish 3rd most likely. It'll most likely be Portugal that finish 3rd, but yeah, they're most likely to play Netherlands or Belgium. At the time of this recording, the Portugal-France game hasn't been played, but Bruno hasn't got a goal or assist in both of the first 2 matches, which were, what were those 2 matches? It was Hungary and Germany. He didn't get a goal or assist in either of them, so that's why you should probably avoid Bruno going into the round of 16, especially if they play against a tough team. But we'll have a better look tonight at who Portugal actually play against. But I think no matter who Portugal play against, I probably wouldn't include Bruno, just based on the fact that, I mean, he's a system player. Yeah, he gets loads of goals and assists for Manchester United, but for Portugal, he's never been that great, and at such a high budget. I think he's worth 10.5 million euros. I don't think that's good enough. He needs to be producing, well, at least some goals and assists for 10.5 million, but yeah, that's my reasoning for that. Now on to the players that you should keep in your team. Now, the buy, sell, keep, avoid sort of concept doesn't really work, because the round of 16 is pretty much a wild card. But it's essentially, for buy and keep, it's pretty much 4 players that you should bring in, and sell and avoid, it's pretty much 4 players who you shouldn't include. That's essentially how it's going to work for the round of 16, because everyone gets unlimited free transfers. But the first player that you should keep in your team, so essentially player who you should include in your round of 16 15-man draft, is Gianluigi Donnarumma. Is that his name? Is it Gianluigi? I'm pretty sure it is. But pretty much, Italy got 3 clean sheets in their 3 games. They scored 7, didn't concede a single goal. Their group, it wasn't even that easy either. I mean, you'd expect them to concede at least 1 or 2. They had Wales in there. Who else did Italy have? They had Turkey and Switzerland as well. Switzerland, like a decent side. Thought they would score at least 1. I thought Wales would score at least 1. But unfortunately, they didn't. Well, fortunately for FPL, for everyone who had Italian players, and fortunately for Italian people themselves. But they have Austria in the round of 16. They're probably likely to keep a clean sheet. Austria better than Wales? I'm not too sure about that, actually. That's actually probably a close one. Austria-Wales, if they were to play each other, I'm not too sure about what that result would actually end like. But Italy are by far the favourites to win that game, and that's why Donnarumma. I think Donnarumma, of all goalkeepers to keep a clean sheet, you'd probably think on paper, oh, I'm not too sure if Italy are going to keep a clean sheet against Austria. But if you look at the other fixtures, you know, there could be a Netherlands-Portugal, it could be Belgium-Portugal, it could be England-Portugal, or England-Germany, or England-France. I think it's probably safe to choose Donnarumma, considering Italy have one of the easier fixtures for the round of 16. That's why I'd include Donnarumma. And second of all, I'd choose Dumfries, who is just amazing on the attack. He actually ended up missing a sitter in the last game. Who was that against? That was against North Macedonia. He missed that sitter, which would have been good points if he were to have scored that, but he went off at half time and ended up getting 1 point, so it was quite disappointing. But 22 points in 2. Well, it's 22 points in 3 matches, 21 points in the first 2, so you could pretty much say 22 in 2.5 matches. But 21 points in 2 matches if you don't include the third match against North Macedonia where he came off at half time. And Netherlands are guaranteed to either play Czech Republic, Slovakia, or Portugal in the round of 16. If it's Portugal that they play, I would maybe avoid taking Dumfries. But if they play Czech Republic or Slovakia in the round of 16, then I would probably take him. Well, I'll definitely take him. If Netherlands play Czech Republic or Slovakia in the round of 16, I'm probably going to quadruple up on the Netherlands players. Because, I mean, well, unless there's an upset, we all know that there is going to be upsets in this competition. There are upsets in every single international competition. There's upsets in every competition in general, you know, Champions League and whatnot. But, yeah, definitely, if they play one of those two, Dumfries has to be in your team. Now moving on to the 2 players who you should avoid bringing into your team, so to just stay away from. The first one is Mæhle, who plays for Denmark. Now this is a weird one because he's owned by 4% of players. He was one of those favourites that most people who scored high points had Mæhle in their team for game week 1 and 2. Unfortunately, he didn't score. I think he blanked in game week 1 because of the situation that happened with Christian Eriksen. Thank God he's okay now. But Mæhle, they play Wales. Denmark played Wales in around 16. I think, I'm not too sure. Denmark, Wales? I mean, it doesn't really matter who the favourites are to win that game. But I think regardless if Denmark are going to win or Wales are going to win, I think Denmark are unlikely to keep a clean sheet against Wales. I can see Wales scoring at least 1 against Denmark. Whether they lose or win, I think they're likely to score 1. Which means if you have Mæhle and they don't keep a clean sheet, you have to rely on goals and assists to get points. And at this stage, the round of 16, you are going to need big points. Any points that you can take, you're going to need. And I wouldn't risk using one of those 3 free transfers. Now, as some of you guys know, you might all know, but between the round of 16 and the quarterfinals, you only get 3 free transfers. And obviously going from 16 teams to 8 teams, that's obviously a huge cut-off. So say you have 3 players from Netherlands, and then Netherlands go ahead and lose to, say they have Portugal in the round of 16 and you have 3 Netherlands players, Netherlands are no longer going to be in the competition, but you still have 3 Netherlands players in your team, even though they're not in the competition. So you're going to have to use all 3 of your free transfers to get rid of all 3 of those Netherlands players. And say you have 3 Netherlands players plus a Denmark player, and Denmark and Netherlands both go out, you're going to have someone on the bench who isn't even in the competition anymore. So these are risks that you need to take. You need to play it safe. Whoever has the good fixtures, target them. Do not go for differentials. That's why you should not go for English players, because you don't know whether they're going to go to the next round or not, and you're risking using one of your free 3 transfers. Now, that's why I wouldn't include Mailer in my team. And the last player who you should avoid is, similarly, Gareth Bale. Now, he's owned by 5%. You can have 4 from a team, and as I said, 3 free transfers. But it's the same reason with Mailer, really. I wouldn't risk including Bale in your team, as it's unclear as to who is going to win the Wales versus Denmark match. Sitting here, if I were to make a prediction about Wales-Denmark, I could not predict to you what that score would be. If it was a group stage match, I would say that it would be a draw, but it can't possibly be a draw. You know, it's one game, one leg, round of 16. It's win or draw. It's all or nothing. So that's why I would say this is a huge tip for the round of 16. Do not include players whose teams play against each other. So, prime example, Mailer and Bale is Denmark versus Wales. They obviously play for either side. Do not include a Danish player and a Welsh player, because one of them is 100% guaranteed to be out of the competition after that match day, meaning you're going to have to use one of your free transfers to get rid of them. So, do not, I repeat, do not include players from teams that play against each other. So I'll give another example. I'll give another example of, say, England play against Portugal, Kane and Bruno. Do not include Kane and Bruno both in your team, because one of them is guaranteed to go out and you have to use one of your free transfers on them. So obviously it's a daft move. I mean, it's probably, if you think they're going to score points, then maybe you could take the risk, but you're guaranteed to use one of your free transfers on one of the players whose team goes out. So that's a huge tip to make sure you don't do that. But pretty much that is the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications if you haven't already. We're on 418 subscribers. I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for 400 subscribers. If we can push on, this is a big this is a big ask. If we can hit 500 by the end of the Euros, which is the 11th of July, so that's about 2.5 weeks time. If we can hit it by then, that would be highly appreciated. I'd appreciate that so much. But yeah, goodbye guys.